Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this really easy bunny cake for Easter. As ingredients, you're going to need a whole lot of self-raising flour, a fair amount of butter, milk, sugar, vanilla essence and 2 eggs. Firstly, you want to mix together the butter and the sugar. And then after that is mixed in well, you want to add the eggs and vanilla essence. Next, you want to add the flour a little at a time, making sure that the mixture is very well mixed before you add any more in. And lastly, you want to add the milk also a little at a time. As you can notice, I'm using the exact same recipe I used for the cupcakes in my previous video, as I want to give this cake a little bit more of strength so that I can shape it into a bunny. Next, take the round tin you're going to bake your cake in, and I'm not going to use baking paper for this as I want my cake to be perfectly round so it's easier to ice, and so I am using sunflower oil and flour to prevent the cake from sticking on the sides of the tin. While my cake was in the oven, I decided to do the ears of the bunny. Now this is a rough guide of how I did them, and I'm going to leave down the measurements in the descriptions below of the video if you want to copy the ears exactly how I made them. As ingredients for the icing, you need butter, vanilla essence and icing sugar. I also am going to add on the inside edible sprinkles and strawberry jam, and on the outside I'm going to cover it in coconut. For the icing, mix in the butter with the vanilla essence and the icing sugar, adding the icing sugar only a little bit at a time so you cause a little less of a snowstorm. Now take a sheet of baking paper and turn your cake upside down onto that sheet, and then try to roughly make a line where you think it would be half the circle to create 2 semicircles. Then using a knife very carefully cut the cake in half. Now, I'm a big fan of adding jam to everything so that cakes aren't dry. So I'm going to use strawberry jam to put inside this cake. You can use any other type of jam that you think would go well with the buttercream that you have made. You can either do it like this, like I am in the video, and do little holes in which you can put the jam, or you can simply add it as a layer. But make sure that whatever you do will make it easier for when you need to flip the cake together in the next step. What you want to do next is add buttercream to only 1/2 of the circle. Now at this point is when you would add the sprinkles, however I genuinely forgot. I said I was going to add them, and therefore the lack of sprinkles. Now very carefully take the two semicircles and sandwich them together, making sure you press very lightly so that they stick to each other with the buttercream. A top tip for this is to make sure that you put the cake on the layer or stand that you want to then keep at the end. This is a mistake that I did, as I first put it on this layer instead of the stand that I wanted to keep at the end, and you will later see why this was the biggest mistake of this video. Next, you want to mark a V-like shape that is going to define the bunny's head and the bunny's body, making sure that one side of the V is longer than the other. Then cut this layer. Next, you want to add the buttercream on every side of the cake, covering it completely. I am not doing too thick of a layer, however, this is really up to you on how much you love buttercream and how much you want to add to the cake. Now this is the fun part because you get to add the coconut, and this is also a really long job, so feel free to snack on the piece of cake that you cut earlier, because this is totally not what I did while doing the cake with one hand. When I said earlier about putting the cake on the stand that you want to keep it on, this is what I meant, as I almost broke the bunny's bum trying to move it onto a different stand. At this point, you can do some small retouches of coconut if you want to, and then once you're happy with it, add the ears. And that is the finished look of the cake. I hope you liked this video. Give it a big thumbs up if you did. Subscribe if you'd like to see more things like this, and leave any comments below on anything you'd like me to cook or bake next. Thank you very much for watching, and happy Easter everyone.